Welcome back to another Fed Day. It is Federal Reserve Day. Oh boy. This is one of the big days that we always enjoy. It comes about every 6 weeks. And here we are. It's finally here. So today is the 20th. That's summer surgery. That'll be later today. It's surprising, actually. They're doing surgery later in the day, but sometimes they do that. And so we're going to cover JPOW. We've got some economic data coming out as well. We've got, well, actually, what do we have? No, we really don't have data until 7 a.m. And those are just mortgage applications. Then we're going to get the interest rate decision, which obviously we're expecting a hold at 525 to 550. And the biggest thing is going to be that dot plot, as well as how JPOW tries to water it down. He, in the past, and this will be, I think, an important observation to make. In the past, Jerome Powell has generally watered down the dot plot. So it was sort of like he'd act like the messenger. Like, don't shoot the messenger was always the JPOW POV. We saw that a lot in over the past cycles. So we'd get a dot plot and say, those are people's estimates. It's not a plan. It's just a snapshot in time of what people are thinking. It's just an opinion. But let's be real, it's a signaling tool as well. And so seeing what ends up happening with the dots today will be pretty big, especially since we did have some both employment and inflation data that came in warmer than expected, which does signal cause for at least some concern that perhaps the Federal Reserve will pay attention to a little bit more astutely. But then again, you could have a JPOW who, like last time, said, hey, remember I always said inflation data doesn't even have to come in as good? Well, here it is. We've had it come in. Hasn't been as good, but we're okay with that. So we're still on track. That's entirely possible as well. So we'll see. But we are now just a few hours away from finding out the truth. Well, I guess I should say their version of the truth. So Fed Day, again, I would say watch for not just the SEP, but watch for SEP, Summary of Economic Projections, and how Jerome Powell either waters it down or talks it up. He usually waters it down. So that would be the more dovish version of Powell. So we'll see what we get there. Okay, now something overnight that's been very interesting is we did have that 3 a.m. sort of buying spree again on Bitcoin. I always think this is very interesting. So let's get down to the minute. Let's just look at the last few hours. And we'll go all the way down to our bottom here. Let's find it here. There we go. Okay, there's our bottom. Look at this. This is 1:33 Eastern Time. We hit a bottom on a BTC. So once again, whatever happens around this time, all of a sudden we tend to get buying pressure. So 134, some people say it's international buying, some people say it's institutional program writing. Who knows? But 1:34 a.m. Bitcoin hits a bottom at 6,835 by 3 a.m. Look at that. There's that 3 a.m. buying program again. See that? I don't know what happens around 3 a.m. That looks like it's right around 307. From there, we go from 61.8 up a couple $100. Nice little spike there right at 3. And you push all the way in the next 90 minutes up about $1,000. Same thing you saw in the hour and a half there before it. Back to about 64 now. So some enthusiasm in the market. And it looks like there's really honestly just excitement over JPOW, which is somewhat surprising. But hey, the market's good at just surprising people. So we'll see what happens. Again, I want to clarify it just because some people seem to be confused. I don't think we're getting a rug pull today from Powell, but I do think we're getting a rug tug, I'm calling it. So imagine, imagine for a moment, you're on a rug, okay? So you're on a rug. If you're on it, a rug pull is whoosh, all the way gone, right? A rug tug is like, huh. And then you're like, whoa, oh, okay, I get it. J-Pal's in charge here. You know, that was not good. Almost fell over. That's my take on the rug tug. So, I guess what we should also do is write down what we think for that summary of economic projections. It's sort of a summary. So FOMC Fed meetings will give us the breakdowns of all of the projection materials. The last projections, and then of course we've looked at yesterday and the day before, we've looked at Goldman Sachs' projections, Bank of America's projections. Everyone's, you know, got some disagreement on exactly what will happen. Bloomberg and their folks, they're pretty convinced the Fed's still going to signal 3 cuts this year. I'd be a little surprised over it, but oh well. We'll write it down. Bloomberg and B of A expecting 4.6%, still 3 cuts, and we'll go ahead and call that Fed 2024 rate. I'm leaning towards that 4.8, so it's not like a full rugging. Like a full rugging would be like, nah, we're not going to cut it all. So Kevin thinks 4.8%, so slightly unpricing 3 cuts. This is the rug tug. And then we'll say not expecting 5% plus rug pull. There, hopefully that adds a little bit of clarity since there's like a number on it now. As far as the 25 rate or 26 rate, Fed 2025 rate, B of A expects an increase here from 3.6% to about 3.9%. I agree. I'm going to stick with going about 3.9 there. I don't know that they psychologically need to go with 4 yet, but I do think the 2026 number breaks higher. So 2026 number, I think will go from 2.9% to probably 3.3%. So that way we're getting out of that 2.9 or the 2 handle range. Fed long term, I think steady at 2.5%. Though in the longer term, they could bump that if they really needed to. I don't think that's necessary now. As far as GDP, it wouldn't surprise me to see a revision up. So I'm going to write, I'm also expecting a revision up of 2024 GDP from 1.4% to 1.8%. I'm going to go 1.7%. I think that's what I had written down previously. And then as far as the unemployment rate, I'll honestly probably stick with the 4.1. I don't know that they'll make any changes there. And then, of course, they'll push up the PCE numbers. PCE numbers slightly up. And how much they adjust PCE, should write that down too. How much they adjust PCE versus how much they actually adjust their rate number, I think will matter. How much they adjust PCE versus rate will matter. For example, PCE 2024 might go 2.4% to 2.8%. That's 40 or you know 0.4% up. Okay, so if we go 0.4% up, I wouldn't be surprised if we only get that 0.2% increase on the actual rate for the year. But FOMC rate might still only be up 0.2%. So kind of like a little 2-for-1 ratio, and that'd be a little estimate that I'd have. So if they, and they might do the same thing for next year too. Next year, if you're expecting 2.1, you might see that go up to 2.7, 2.6, and you'll still only see a maybe 0.3% move on the actual FOMC rate. So there'll be some version of that I think we'll want to pay attention to as well, just because it'll give us some guidance on really what they'll do is they'll try to send this signal of it's okay if inflation's higher for a little bit longer. But we're you know, we don't need to be so aggressive on it. Who knows? Something like that. So we'll see. Okay. So the next thing is that one of the worst case scenario for the dollar bears that I had talked about, I want to bring up again. So for people who are short the dollar, there's this idea that as rates come down and the Fed dovishly pivots, you get a plummeting dollar. The reason for that is yields on dollar-denominated debt go down when yields are down. And so, as yields go down, dollar probably goes down. But if yields stay higher, because the U.S. economy is doing stronger, then the dollar can actually do very well. Here's another force that's wild. And it's the one, last year I was short the dollar for a while. I stopped shorting the dollar, although I made money on that short. What I said while I was shorting the dollar was the biggest risk is, for a dollar short, is the U.S. does not go into a recession, because then rates will stay higher, and the rest of the world does go into a recession. So the rest of the world is in recession, the U.S. is not. The U.S. will have the strongest dollar. That sort of asymmetry would really hurt a dollar short. So I'd pay attention to that if you're speculating on the dollar at all, because that also feels somewhat possible at this point, and I think that's why we've had a bit of a recovery since that Fed dovish pivot there. Okay. Next. Let's see here. Okay. So, Andrew here says, explaining stuff is my favorite part of this content. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. And thank you. Appreciate that on Summer. We're very excited for her. This is hopefully her last procedure ever. I love Intel. Somebody here says thoughts on Intel. They finally got their Biden bucks. Let's see how they're doing this morning. Yeah, I think Intel is only 2%, sort of undervalued chip manufacturer. Chapao, shut the effing door, exactly. Yep. So, no one won the Mega Millions last night. She's almost a Billy now. Wow. 3 a.m. is Krabby Patty line time. That's funny. Yep. We did see that Grayscale is it dumped a chunk of BTC. We did address that in yesterday's Bitcoin video, and a lot of that makes sense. The problem is the level of dumping has exceeded the level of inflows into the ETFs, hence coming off of the all-time highs on BTC. Remember, in order to get prices to go up, you need more buyers than sellers. And so when you have more people in ETFs, you probably have more sellers than you maybe had in the past, or more potential sellers as prices fluctuate. Like, new people coming in with new money to Bitcoin might not necessarily be the hardcore diamond handers, so to speak. All right, let's see. Okie dokie. So Boeing sees a massive cash drain. Yeah, that's not a surprise. Intel, $20 billion in grants, by the way, and loans. Okay, so how many? Oh, okay, 8.5 billion in grants and as much as 11 billion in loans. Wow. So that's incredible. I mean, it's such a massive amount of money. It's almost like a free factory. 8.5 billion in grants and 11 billion in loans from Biden. I like to call those Biden bucks. Stimulus. Corporate stimulus. Okay. Not inflationary, don't worry. Anyway, Joe Biden's going to tour the Intel campus in Phoenix, announce a preliminary agreement with Intel for a major award from the Chips and Sciences Act. CHIPS Act set aside 39 billion in grants. So 39 billion in grants. Okay, the rest were, and then on top of that you had like loan guarantees and other things. Sorry. And then I mean, look at that. 8.5 divided by 39. It's almost 22%. So, wow. Write that down. Almost 22% of CHIPS Act. Okay, so that's pretty big. For Intel, facilities are part of an ambitious turnaround bid for the CEO. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Funding is focused solely on commercial production, but they're also expected to receive some 3.5 billion in funding for manufacturing of military and intelligence chips. Interesting. And this comes after the Pentagon scrapped an Intel plant or Intel grant. Still expecting 3.5 billion of funding for military Intel chips. That's even after the Pentagon scrapped deal. Okay. Very good. Now, let's see what else. So, that's Intel. Then, Ethereum ETF odds are shrinking. Oh, that's interesting. Wonder why they think that. The odds of the SEC approving a spot Ethereum ETF in May look as low as 25% to us. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they want to do some wait and see. Yeah, only approved Bitcoin funds due to a loss in court. Oh, rip. Okay. Inflation fears bloom for the Fed's rite of spring. What? Ahead of the Fed yet again. Not long ago, money markets were priced on the assumption that a rate cut from the FOMC this month was a total certainty. Now, the FOMC convenes for spring meeting, and that's changed. Nobody thinks rates are going down. Let's see. In January, fund managers were worried about geopolitics and the possibility of a hard landing. Now their biggest concern is higher inflation. Great. Is that the consensus now? Well, it's 32%, 21% geopolitics. That is interesting. I'll put a little screeny of that on, this is the Bank of America Fund Manager Survey. So, biggest risk, higher inflation. I mean, yeah, in fairness, at the end of last year, you had 6 months of almost straight disinflation. And now you have an environment that is a little more aware that inflation may persist a bit longer. So inflation rose. Well, it was the highest concern then as well. It was just less of a concern. Interesting. Oh, as of February. In January, geopolitics was higher. The way they show this is kind of funny. I'll put it up on screen just a sec. Let's go to here. Let me go to ehack.com. All right, let's get this. Computer's got to wake up a little bit. In the meantime, let's see here. Now, biggest concern is higher inflation. That psychology in itself may make it harder for the Fed to cut aggressively. This also came through when managers were asked to place their bet on the chances of a no landing. Chance of a no landing is up from 3% to 23%. Odds of a hard landing are now 11% versus 30% last October. Okay. Here's what that chart looks like. So you could see that change over time. So change over time, money managers moved, highest risk being geopolitics in January to higher inflation in March. Okay. Let's see what else here. Recession still deemed to be unlikely. Fund managers are now quite a long way ahead of the bond market, where recent rises in shorter-term yields have kept the yield curve deeply inverted. Remain in an unusual position where yields on shorter-term bonds are higher. Makes life difficult for lenders. Well, yeah, if this inverted yield curve isn't great. It's still a signal of recession. Bank of America was moved to inquire directly whether artificial intelligence stocks were in a bubble. 40% of fund managers said yes. Wow. Ooh, that is a cool, interesting little chart there. I mean, this doesn't mean that it is, but B of A fund manager survey. Let's throw that in here too. Do you think AI stocks are in a bubble? Wow. Excuse me. Okay, so 40% said yes, and 45% said no. 15% said don't know. What does everybody think here? I guess maybe just give like a little shout out in the chat there. Say yes bubble, no bubble. I don't know if we need to run a survey on it, but write that down. So let's write that down as 45%, or rather 40% of fund managers say AI is a bubble. I don't know, is that a way of sort of justifying that, like, maybe you weren't as allocated as you wanted to be? I don't know. Let's see. It also does seem to be a popular opinion to think that we've gone to 2 rate cuts. Which, yeah, I'm going to write that down too. Consensus of fund managers also indicates 2 cuts versus 3 this year. So 2 may be consensus. The Fed often follows consensus, so that wouldn't surprise me then. And then there's also the chance that if that's already built into people's belief, that it won't actually be a surprise. Except some people think 0 cuts this year. It's eerily a bubble. Don't think it's a bubble quite yet. Bubble, yes. AI says, I'll be back. AI stocks remind me of Tesla during the pandemic. Customers not making any money with AI going up because of Nvidia. Interesting. Startups are in a bubble. Nvidia is the bubble. Ooh, interesting. Okay, a lot of opinions here. No bubble. Will leverage AI for global domination. No, AI has unimaginable potential. My concern is I agree that AI has unimaginable potential. I just don't think that potential gets realized in the next few years. I think it's going to take decades to really do all of the things that people are thinking when it comes to AI. But I don't know. Maybe it'll all happen a lot faster. So, okay. Let's see. Let's take a peek at what CNB Sizzle has to say this morning. Let's see here.
Stay tuned. You're watching Squawk Box on CNBC.
All right. That was short-lived. No problem. Jump on over to El Sticko's here. And let's see how this... We'll have a sicko review. The Stickos. Supermicrocomputers up. I'm sorry, down 2.4% again. BTC off that 64 level. Q's up 17 bips. You've got Tesla up 80. MicroStrategy actually positive. Wow. Let's see what's falling in the pre-market. Is it just Supermicro? Yeah, really. Supermicro, Boeing, Wingstop shaves off another percent. Hate that stock. It's overvalued. Matterport, 50 bips to the downside. Nvidia, 20 bips. Apple, 7. It's pretty benign. Pretty chill movements here, I should say. Embraer is at $25. That's crazy. Coinbase at 231. Really recovered there for a while. It hit some nasty lines yesterday, but it never broke them. These right here, this 218 level, look at that. Right through. Bounce. Right up again. Interesting how I just had to bounce right where the line is. That's usually how it works, though. Okay. Next. Let's see what some of these suits have for us. Let's see. So, what is this? We have... let's see. Let's go with this. The semiconductor space faced challenges in Q4 as cyclical weakness continued across several end markets and weighed on areas that had been resilient for some time. Oh, tell me more. Further, sector debates remain centered on geopolitical tensions, heavy capex on foundries. Today, publishing our quarterly chip sector update note. This is JP Morgan. Broadcom could tap issuance markets at any time. Got to raise some money. We're upgrading Intel and Dell to neutral from underweight. Wow. So, as soon as Dell gets a shout out from Nvidia, y'all upgrade them. All right. Inventory corrections in PC and mobile have largely abated. Those markets are on the path to a slow recovery. Weakness is now in industrial, networking, and the autos. Industrial and networking expected to persist for a few quarters, and even a previously resilient auto end market is starting to crack. Oh. It's not good. And a previously resilient auto end market is starting to crack, even if insulated by secular trends. AI continues to fuel data center growth. XAI results in the end market have been soft. Yeah. Demand for AI GPUs has also rapidly accelerated names like Nvidia and AMD, and there's a significant shortage dynamic in the environment. Yep, I believe that. China remains a focus. Let's see what else here. Hey, look, Applied Materials. On the higher quality side of the fence, Lam Research remains a top pick at levels flat to KLA, as well back of Applied Materials. Conversely, we see little value in the spreads of Texas Instruments and Micron. All right. Let me see here. Oh, and then they just go a little bit more into a detail here. We do have some announcements. We did get the Intel announcement. We just saw that. What do we have here? Spreads. End market demand. We will go end market by end market across the semi-space. Nah, we don't really want to do that. We've witnessed rolling cycles across different end markets. If gravity does in fact set in for automotive, that will be the last domino to fall. Even if we see any downturn here is more limited than those experienced by consumer PC. See, that's interesting. That's the automotive chip demand. They don't seem to be very enthusiastic about that potential. Where's autos? Total semiconductor sales by end market. Autos is sitting right about there. So they think there's a chance that autos are going to move down. Yeah, not a surprise. All right, JP Morgan, that was a little boring.
As always, and
Good to see you.
thanks for
Thank you.
forwarding that article to me. It was a good read. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Let's take a final check on the markets right now, folks. You're going to see that we are still looking at a mixed market ahead of this big Fed day. Dow futures are now down by 76 points. S&P futures off by 5. The NASDAQ indicated up by about 22 points. The Treasury market's been interesting, too. Yields have picked up steadily, although today and yesterday giving back some of that ground. The 10-year right now is at 4.28. The 2-year is at 4.68. And before that, the 10-year had been above 4.3. The 2-year was above 4.7. So
Bet you I could get a worm song in your head.
Oh, I bet I can get one back in your head.
Don't worry. Be happy. It's International Happiness
Want to be
Day.
happy for the rest of your life. Happy, happy, happy. Yeah.
Oh,
I was
my
thinking
God.
happy ones, too.
I don't like it.
Okay. All right, so let's see here. What else? We got some commentary here. Thank you so much for the wishes here on summer. Let's see here. Dogecoin coverage. Thoughts on cannabis legalization. You know, the thing is, people thought when Biden was going to get elected that cannabis legalization would be a top priority. And it has not been a first-term priority at all. I mean, it hasn't come up at all. And I don't know if it'll come up in the second term, if he has a second term. So we'll see. Summer surgery is at 1:30. So, but yeah, that's interesting. Comment here about DWAC. Let's see how DWAC's been. I thought it's been down since Super Tuesday, right before it. Let's see. Yeah, kind of bleeding out there. A little bit of that bleed out. Maybe Trump's got to sell some shares of DWAC. You know, what'd be interesting is if he needed to raise some money for his bond, what if he took, like, the Trump organization public? But then I guess all your financials are public. Maybe he doesn't want that. But it would be interesting. I'm sure tons of people would buy shares of his Trump org. And then he'd have plenty of dollar hollas. Probably, presumably. I don't know. But then again, you gotta value that real estate, so. What do we got here?
We reinvented the computer as we know it. The computer's been the same since 1964, since the year after I was born. And we reinvented it with this idea called accelerated computing. Now, you could have a computer that's 100 times faster or 20 times more energy efficient, cost 20 times less, and to be able to solve problems at a scale that nobody's ever imagined.
Jim, you know, so many different takeaways, including that. It's something you've been discussing to a certain extent. And I think a lot of investors are just trying to get their arms around all of this. What does it mean? Where do I want to be? Is it just Nvidia? Can that growth continue? I mean, so many different questions that seem to emanate from both his presentation and your interview.
Well, look, I think that you have to go with analogies. And I didn't get this one from Jensen, but I've been thinking about it all night, which is that right now we are really happy because we have propeller airplanes, and they're terrific. And a lot of people are wondering, why do we need something faster? Why do we need anything faster? And Jensen's got a jet. You know what? It's a secret weapon that he's using, and everyone's going to want a jet. We just don't know it yet, David. That's the difference.
And everything's going to be so much faster. There was that moment where he pointed to, I think, sort of the setup of the servers, and his point was, this is so much faster and it's going to take up so much less space. Obviously, it's still going to be in a data center, but it's going to replace what is a current data center just with, you know, wasn't that much equipment that he was looking at.
Well, he's got a great sense of irony, and he's a very humble man. So it's difficult to really grasp sometimes what he says because it has so much gravitas. For instance, he said, Jim, I asked him, I said, do we have to do a do-over of our entire system? And he said, look, only 95% of the chips aren't any good anymore. Solid 5% leaves. He left. Only 95% of the chips just aren't what we want. And when you hear that, and then you hear all these skeptics, you say, well, do they listen to him? Is he too calm? Does he have to be more jumping up and down? What does he have to do?
Right. And you're seeing that in some of the research now in terms of that point you're making. The second, the strong second leg of GP.
Okay. Regarding this jet analogy, it's not a bad analogy. It's kind of like, the infrastructure is going to get built out on AI, and then it's a matter of, okay, now let's get the actual productive software stacks built, and those will get better and better and better and better over time. And we probably won't be able to measure the change on like a month-over-month basis, but when we look at the 5 years before, say, March of 2023, and then the 5 years after March of 2023 into 2028, I think that's where people are going to go, whoa, okay, yeah, that AI was useful, the AI. But, and then they're like, gotta have it. Everybody's gotta have it. Makes sense. But I don't know that the changes are necessarily as massive just yet. But they will be. They will be over time. It is the future.
Because I'm not sure. I know that Jensen personally likes the Vision Pro, and I think that's more additive to Apple than anything that we're talking about, including the fact that Tim Cook, is in China. How about that? Let's have a Tim Cook watch in China.
Well, he's got to pitch the iPhone in China. They're kind of struggling with sales over there a little bit. Someone here says, how do I sign up for the course member live stream? Well, just go to meetkevin.com, and when you sign up for any of the courses come with the course member live stream. All of them do. But yeah, we'll be covering JPOW obviously at 11 a.m. California time. We'll be live for JPOW. We'll get the statement. We'll review the statement, and then we'll go into JPOW's actual statements. His presser. Thanks so much for the best wishes on summer. Thank you. Let's see. I want to see what other comments we have here. People actually need all that compute. Yeah, well, that's the thing I agree with that. Elon says we won't be compute constrained soon. I agree with that. I think you build out the infrastructure, and then it's like, all right, hopefully if we build it, more people will come to use it, and that'll be true over time, I suspect. And I don't think it'll be, again, as rapid, maybe as the market expects right now. Okay.
The other day at the airport. Starbucks in the book is better than Starbucks store.
Right. But a lot of people are trying to put it all together and what it means, again, for this ecosystem, for the Metas, not just the Nvidias, for Apple. We've talked about things moving to the edge, for example. This week, we had that story earlier in the week from Bloomberg about Google or Alphabet negotiating potentially with Apple about including Gemini. When we say the edge, we mean essentially the device, just to be clear, which potentially would require a lot more memory in the device itself, by the way, if you're running these these kinds of apps.
But you could put 280 billion microprocessors in this. We spoke with Synopsys yesterday, and you could have 280 billion. Well, they're actually transistors, but they're pieces of something.
208. It was 208 billion. So it was 208 billion transistors in the thing.
It was too noisy in here. I thought he said 280.
No, 208.
Granularity.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear.
Really? You couldn't hear? All right, I think we have some more.
All right. So, complaining about this doesn't really matter. All right, let's take a peek back here. So this was Dwack. I'm watching BTC. They hit that 64.3 number. Got a reject here. And now we're looking for, let's see what other heads up we have here going into the day. So let's see here. Speculators' zeal for sterling at risk from inflation skewering. My goodness. Traders expecting the fall in UK inflation to drive a rise in real rates. Said to be disappointed. This is a little complicated article here. Let's look at something else. We would explore something else. Stocks churn before the Fed as a wild card. Yeah, I agree with that. You've actually got bonds on the 10-year down a bit, 1 basis point, and then the 2 years down about 1 basis point as well. Oil sitting at 86.30. And then the pre-market, you still got the NASDAQ up 14 bips-ish, 18. Yeah, it's bobbing around over here. Oh, yeah. Be interesting to see how this morning goes leading into the meeting. Tesla's still enthusiastic with about 60 basis points on top of yesterday's 143 decline. And, yeah, otherwise the pre-market's relatively well-behaved. We do have the Reddit IPO today, so that should be some entertainment. That'll start trading, RDDT. Then on top of that, we are, let's see here, we are looking at Astera Labs, and that'll IPO as well today. I usually stay away from IPOs, but Astera Labs is a lab. There you go. A lab. And then RDDT for Reddit. Both of those on trading halts as we wait to get listed. Reddit will be on the NYSE. A lab will be on NASDAQ. So we should actually see them for the opening bell. If they got the opening bell slot on same day. I mean, I feel like they should. But they might get closing bell, so who knows? Who knows? Okay, let's go jump on over to Doomburgers for a moment. See if they got anything juicy for us.
Maybe even zero. But the most synchronized cutting cycle in 16 years from a global perspective, the impact.
Well, I mean, it follows one of the most synchronized hiking cycles that we've seen, in recent memory. And I think that speaks to the fact that there was a global common shock to inflation. So while we, in the U.S. often focus on U.S.-specific drivers of inflation, it really was not only just a developed market phenomena, but a global phenomena. So, but in our perspective, I think the Fed and other central banks for that matter, but particularly the Fed, are going to be operating with a pretty insular viewpoint in terms of focusing really on the domestic data and not being too swept away by what's happening in Frankfurt or in London, for that matter.
Indeed, I think maybe the Bank of Japan are more focused on.
Oh, I also quickly want to clarify that they are pricing their IPO today. They are actually trading tomorrow. So A Lab won't start trading until tomorrow. Reddit won't start trading until tomorrow. A Lab will start trading today. So A Lab today, Reddit tomorrow. Clarify that. Sorry about that. All right.
It's not to the same extent LVMH and Hermes, but you're looking at over $7.5 billion worth of market cap being wiped off carrying. So this is a warning signal about luxury, a warning signal about Chinese high-end consumers. Let's see what's happening ahead of the opening bell. Abigail Doolittle is with me on set for our U.S. session. Abby.
Well, Manus, we do have U.S. futures ever so slightly lower, but despite this, we have a couple of stocks that are popping. One being Intel. They have received a $20 billion in U.S. grants and loans for chip plants, the largest award from a program designed to reinvigorate the domestic chip industry. Tesla, now it's interesting you should bring up that China weakness, up 0.5% at this point. The rumor has become a reality. They are going to start raising their Model Y prices by $1,000 starting April 1st. Testing the appetite there for more expensive items, especially given the fact that there's so much EV competition. Boeing to the downside, though.
Yeah, they just sent another email, by the way. What was it, yesterday? You had, excuse me. So yesterday, where was it? Tesla. Save $1,000 and get free supercharging. So, as an early Cybertruck reservation holder, you can get $1,000 off your purchase and receive 5,000 miles of free supercharging when you take delivery of a YSX by March 31st. Model Y prices will increase by $1,000 April 1st. They're really pushing hard to get these vehicles sold. In fact, let me see if I can just, let's see here. Let's do this. Okay. Okay. I think I have to get to the bottom of this. But should be able to do this now. There we go. So here are your Model Ys. You've got a $7,500 tax credit on the Model Y, which is great. But you're seeing the used inventory is actually being price cut here. Or maybe this isn't, I'm sorry, this is not used. This is the new available inventory. See, I want to compare that to the new. So let's compare a new, like the configurator. And so if I go, I guess you can't even, can you even order one? Order now? Yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. So let's go with Model Y. I don't know, I just want the normal one. Model Y. Oh, these are all long range dual. Fine. Long range. That is purchase price $49K. Why is that one showing at 52? Oh, yeah. The tax credit is separated here. They're showing that. $49,000 versus why is this one? Oh, this one has autopilot. Which enhanced autopilot, I'm assuming? 6K? Let's look at this. So I'm wondering if the standing inventory is cheaper. No. See, enhanced autopilot's here, FSD's here. So what's the difference between this vehicle details? Oh no, this is used. Wheels? Yeah, okay, the wheels are different. It says demo vehicle. So it's why are they so high on it then? I mean, if I could get the long range, a new long range demo vehicle, tow hitch. I mean, there aren't that many options to add. I mean, the white inside, $1,000. Throw the wheels in. There we go. That throws me at, I mean, what's my total now? I don't really know. And then how many seats is it? Doesn't say. Well, they don't make that too obvious. Oh, 7-seat interior. There it is. Okay, got it. So we go 7 seats here. Ah, there we go. Okay. And then it doesn't update my price at the top. So let's see if I... look at that. So, well, that's interesting. If I want a brand new one, with all the upgrades I just picked, $55,000. But if I pick one that's available now, they'll take even more money off. What? Wait, how do I... This doesn't make sense. Why would the demo vehicle with a 1,500-mile odometer be more expensive than a brand new available now version that I just configured? See, that doesn't make sense. That's odd. Okay. So let me just see if I put in new here. Long range. I want one that's not a demo vehicle. Those are demos. They're getting rid of all their demo vehicles? Yeah, I mean, these are all listed as demos. Okay, here we go. Here are non-demos. What's this one? So here's a Model Y long range. This is a new vehicle. It's got the wheels. It's got the 5-seat interior. So let's go back. Let's go to 5-seat interior. There's some weird stuff going on with the pricing here. Okay. Autopilot. Okay. So that model, oh, but it'd be black exterior. There we go. Okay. So that model, brand new configured, I can get for, what is it with all these different prices? Look at this. Yeah. So here, there's an inventory one that's available for $45,890, which includes a $5,100 price adjustment. Wow. Choose 5. I did change it to 5 seats. I did 5-seat interior. See? We did the long range, black. We have the wheels. And we did 5-seat interior. So I've already updated all of that. And this aligns. See, look at this. Here, if I do get it later, it'd be $50,990. Here, there's a $5,100 price reduction on the existing inventory. So the existing inventory is getting slashed. Oh, that's not good. So, wait a minute. So that's totally bullshit. Wait a minute. So if they're like, oh yeah, we're going to raise the price $1,000 over here, who gives a flying F if they raise the price here if the available inventory is going to be cheaper and they're just going to discount the available inventory by $5,000? Are you kidding me? Who cares? It's a gimmick. No. Like, I love Tesla. I don't want to see this. Somebody says it's probably the government tax credit. No, it says right there, $38,390 after tax credit. So, yeah, these are both brand new cars. See, new vehicle, and then this is the ordered one right here. So this is an available new vehicle. This is the existing inventory, which is a lot cheaper. Well, sorry, you get two lows. This is existing inventory 1. This is existing inventory number 2. This is new, like you ordered from the factory. So, but there's no difference because they're configured the same. So I got 3 different prices for the same damn car here. The one that's sitting on the lot is selling for $45,890. The one that's sitting on the lot and modeled the same way is $2,000 more than that-ish. And then you got this one over here that's brand new from the factory, which is $5,000 more than this one. But they're all the same car. So let's try this with a Model 3. Because this is annoying. Because this means they can basically just lie to you about the prices going up. Because they're just saying, oh yeah, the price is going to go up. But is it really? So let's see what's going on over here. So I want to get the cheapest Tesla I could get my hands on. Okay? So we're going to go for Model 3, black, normal wheels, black, continue. Cash, baby. Okay, is there no inventory? Well, that'd be somewhat good. Let me see. Vehicles, inventory, Model 3. No. So here's my basic Model 3. And is that considered the long range? Let me see. No, it's not. Model 3 rear wheel drive. Got it. Okay. Okay, so left is brand new. So if I want to buy the brand new one, I'm at $40,630 with the order fee and destination fee. Okay. Now I want new. Why are they showing demo vehicles with 1,000 miles as new? That's not new. Ugh. Now they only have demo vehicles. Now that's interesting. So not a lot of that inventory for those. Okay, what if I go for the long range? Okay, more choices here. So go for the long range. So the cheapest Tesla, not the best choice. Now I'm going to go look for a black one that's basic. Okay, this one has the 19-inch wheels. So I'll pop that. And then what's our interior color? And black and white, premium interior. I think that's the included one. Yep. Okay, good. So now we have the same car again. Yeah, look at that. Wait, why? But why is there an odometer? Why does it have? How do they call it new and it has 2,000 miles? Wait, here it says 223 miles, and then I open the inventory page for it, and then here it says it has 2,500 miles. What the hell? Okay, so that's not new. That's annoying. That's a lie. Okay, let me go to this one. I'm trying to get a like-for-like comparison here. 18 wheels, new vehicle. 18, new vehicle, autopilot. That's fine. Okay, we're the same. Long range. Okay. Okay. So $47,740 if I order it, or if I take the existing inventory, it's $3,000 less. It's $3,500 less. Now it says here that includes an almost $5,000 price adjustment. That's not good. I mean, these are basically the same. Let me see if they add fees. Oh yeah, they're gonna add destination fee too, though. So let's see what this is once I get the destination fee in there. Okay, so my bottom line here is for the same exact vehicle, Model 3. Oh, Stealth Gray versus Midnight Silver. What's the difference between that? Stealth Gray, Solid Black. They don't make that color. I don't know that there's a difference between that. They look slightly different. I'm not sure why. But anyway, okay, so if you custom order it, $49,380. If you take the same one, basically, slightly different paint scheme, but same wheels, they have a slightly different name on them. Photon wheels versus Aero wheels. But the point is, I think this might be Highland versus non-Highland. Yeah, I think that's the difference here. But it's okay, so we have Highland versus non-Highland. But the difference is, look at the difference you're paying. You're paying minus $45,960, $3,420 difference. Okay. So that makes sense. They don't have standing inventory for the Highland. That would make sense. But still, you're saving another 16%-ish by getting a non-Highland version. Those are the difference. Yeah. Okay. All right. That makes sense. That's interesting. So a little less problematic there on the Model 3, but that Model Y, the fact that you could get the same car for like 3 different prices seems a little weird, and the in-inventory adjustments, not great for just the level of adjustments that we're seeing. Okay, so with that, let's go to here and get ready for the bell. Wait a sec. Demo version gets $7,500 incentive. Highland only gets $3,000. Does the Highland even get $3,000? I didn't know the Model 3s were getting the incentives at all. Let me see. Custom order. I don't see that. There is no. The $3,000 you're looking at, those are the gas savings. There is no tax credit for the Model 3 anymore. Very interesting. All right, so we're 1 minute away from the bell. And let's see here. Question regarding Tesla inventory pricing we need to ask is the existing inventory from canceled factory orders or overproduction? Yes, exactly. That's a good question. And then we have here. Okay, let's get to the bell. And make sure we're on the right spot. Let's jump in over here. All right, let's get ready for our bell. Thank you so much, Katrina. Surgery's at 1:30. Thanks so much. And here we go. 3-month backlog for refreshed Model 3, says someone. Interesting. Got to get that production up. All right, here we go.
Sorry.
Do you know what guac is?
What? Yes, I do.
Guac?
I know what guac is. I do.
Okay.
I do.
All right, I just want to
Yeah.
be sure. Because
Yeah.
Guac costs are higher. The
Are they?
avocados
Once again, the
spiked again,
avocados are soaring again.
David. It spiked a
price?
bit.
Yeah. Well, when
Yes.
you owned the Mexican restaurant, we used to get real-time pricing information on the avocados, but not so much anymore.
Avocado killed me. I had
Yeah.
3 months where I lost money because of avocado. I couldn't make it up with Corona.
Here's the opening bell. Here's the big board. Redwood Trust, let's say a real estate investment trust, celebrating its 30th anniversary over at the NASDAQ. AI infrastructure firm Astera Labs. That's an IPO. Its CEO is going to be on Money Movers. That's about an hour and a half from now. All right, Jim.
All right, so let's take a look at what's going on in the market. You've got, let's go jump into here. You've got Nvidia up. Oh, look at that green candlestick popping through on Nvidia. 90 basis points. We're over 900 now. Look at that. Boom. Sitting at about 90 bips here. Yep, surgery's 130 PST, yeah. 72, 75 bips there. You're at about 67 bips on Tesla. A little bit of what looks like a little bit of a red candle coming off of being up 80. You've got the Qs moving up. Super microcomputer, 0.96. You've got DWAC all of a sudden up 9. Intel only up 1.5 after their massive grant. That's surprising. There you go. Tesla back to 1%. It's kind of bobbing around here. Market broadly green here. Pretty much everything's moving green. Enphase kind of stuck in the mud a little bit there. And you've got the SPY sitting at 2 bips up. Adobe 4. Google's actually up nicely. They've been up nicely since that Apple partnership talk. You know, that was what, a few days ago here? 15th or 18th or so. Yeah, they've really moved nicely to this 152. They've gone pretty much straight there. New York Community Bank's been stuck at 3.5. AMD's flat. Qs are up 36 basis points. Dell's up only 27. Got lots of extra shout-outs there. Looks like they had their run. Embraer is down 32. Trade Desk up 2.5. Microsoft's up 16. Oracle up 46. Costco is stuck at about 730. Yeah, it's flatlining a bit there at 730. So we could see how BTC is moving. Slightly down here on BTC, leading into the JPOW meet. 1% on Tesla, 80 bips on Nvidia. MicroStrategy slightly red. And now waiting to watching that Bitcoin candles or these candles as well. Let's go 5-minute here. Yeah, it's kind of just your normal flux. Here's your middle of the night kind of buying again. We'll see how that holds as we get through the day here. And we'll watch the Qs as well. Qs nicely green before Powell. Remember, Powell's low. We'll see what happens, how that changes. Powell is live at 11. So we'll be covering Powell probably at like 10:55. And then after the Powell meeting, we'll do the we'll go through the SAP, then we'll do the press conference. So all that good stuff we'll be doing. So that it's gonna be pretty exciting. Okay, let's see what they have to say here.
They did a better job in terms of executing, and so margins a bit better, or the business just more profitable than some had anticipated. But this was well above many of the estimates, both on the revenue and profit side that analysts had for this company. And again, we're talking about the consumer in China here.
Well, the price of what Temu makes, I mean, it's unbelievable how cheaply you can get it. Now, a lot of us is, my daughter got sent a big box of Temu stuff because it was like she's an influencer or something. I bought some stuff for my wife at Temu just to see how it worked. It was not
That stuff is like cheap stuff.
I think it was mostly because of the Dow issue, you know,
The what?
polyethylene issue.
Oh, the polyethylene issue. Yes.
The actual
Yes.
making of it, which I think would trigger fire hazard throughout New York City. But that's what they make. They make incredibly cheap stuff. The prices are insane. It's you know what? It's crazy Eddie like the prices.
Yeah, insane. Good old Crazy Eddie. In the fourth quarter, the quote is we saw growing demand driven by encouraging consumer sentiment. That was the company's co-chief executive officer, going on to say we will continue our high-quality development strategy and stay dedicated to offer great value.
High quality?
And
Did they say high
service.
quality?
They did. They said high quality.
They mentioned high quality.
Okay, let's back off that. All right, somebody's asking if I'm short. I'm not short anything right now. No, I usually play options. We've done like 5 or 6 trades in the last week and a half or so here. Excuse me. And we made money on every single one of them, which is exciting. I sent all those alerts to everybody in the Stocks and Psychology of Money group. We're going to raise the price for that course on Friday. So if you want in for that, join it. You pay once, you get lifetime access to the content, specifically the course member live streams. You'll be part of that forever. You know, been doing those for like 6 years now. So we'll do the next course member live stream in about 15 minutes as well. So anyway, okay, let's see how other things are moving here. Let's go to see if there are losers, and then I want to see how are bonds moving as the market is opening, and is BTC still falling? BTC USD, you've got ish 62.3-ish, wants to hang out a little bit. Reddit IPO tomorrow, Astera today. Bonds are flat, 10 years flat. You've got NASDAQ up a little bit, as we can see here, but it is turning slightly red here. Nvidia just went red. Tesla is actually green at 125. And Carvana's up 442. Then we're going to look at, let's see what some of the suits have for us in the morning. Okay, we have, let's see, financials beating, tech showcases, stock rally strength. Traders on the lookout for the next big bet in stocks can look to a corner of the market that's nearing all-time highs for clues, shares of financial firms. Let's see here. XLF, the financial sector spider ETF, beating the tech sector XLK so far. Interesting. So how's like PayPal doing? A big candle there on Nvidia. PayPal's kind of still a little sideways. Qs are sort of giving up a little bit here. Getting some red candles coming in. Tesla looks like trying to get rejected on. That's actually a day line that I drew at 174. And it's gotten rejected there before. I've shorted it there before. And that's worked out. Again, I send those alerts to those in the Stocks and Psych group over at meetkevin.com. Then you've got Nvidia. I mean, Nvidia is tanking a little bit, but it's just on the minute candle. ARM was trying to run. It's at 126. It's been slowly trending down. This like slow little bleed here. Volumes collapsing. With lowering volumes, you could see a breakout in either direction, really. We shall see. Intel is like giving up on their pump. Everything's actually giving up right now. Look at this. The Qs are at 8 bips. SQQ is rising. Tesla's falling. Nvidia's falling. Everybody's hitting the sell button right before J-Power, it looks like. So, let's see here. Nvidia is the market, says somebody. Yeah, Nvidia's holding a lot of things up. I'm shorting banks. They're so fragile. Ooh. Let's see. If you draw a BTC trend line from the bottom of 2.7 to 226, well, that's after 226 you had a big rally. So I see what you're saying. You're going to go under the rally. So 226. Let's see here. Let's see what you got. Ah. I can kind of already see what you're talking about. That is such a steep line. My goodness. Let's see. Come on. What'd you say? 2.7? Yeah. So you're right about here. Yeah, and then here's your 2.6. Yeah, that's about 2.6. This is basically what you've drawn. I'm gonna make you purple. Ha 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 ha. That is interesting. That is pretty perfect. Alright. I like that. That's a good one. That's a good one. Very good. So, Nvidia. I'm just watching this one here. Okay. Market's turning red suddenly. Yes. Taking 10% profits everywhere I can. Says House of Cards. It's the perfect name for saying that. Let's see here. Yeah, I usually use 3 points as well, but that's okay. It's an interesting observation, and it makes the third point. Oh, am I gonna have a nosebleed? I might. Oh well. Let's listen in here for a moment. What's Intel saying
today?
Right.
For that, so that makes it faster, smaller, cheaper. More performance capabilities, and this will start coming online next year in 2025 for manufacturing. So we would hope to be manufacturing the most advanced AI chips for all of them, for Intel's products, but for AMD and Nvidia and Apple and Amazon and Google. We want all of those chips to be manufactured in America, taking advantage of the R&D that's done here uniquely in America as well. And that's why today is such a thrilling moment.
I always got to ask about Gaudi 3. Any new news on when that accelerator chip, competing with the others, is going to be ready?
Coming very soon. Very healthy. We're bringing it up in the labs, and the systems are getting bigger that we're running it on. Very healthy. You'll be hearing more about that soon.
All right, going to take a pause here. We're going to hear more from you on CNBC here on Overtime. But for now, Pat Gelsinger, thank you. Send it back to the New York Stock Exchange.
John, thank you. A reminder, by the way, tune in tonight, 4 p.m. Eastern, actually. That's later today. Closing bell overtime. John will.
Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah. A little bit. We'll be okay. We will survive. Intel, halfway through the challenging turnaround. So the thing I have about Intel is I've almost sort of discounted them as a chip designer. And I kind of just see them as a bet on, a value bet on manufacturing. It's sort of been the way I look at Intel. Yeah. So, all right. Tesla's given up here. 32 basis points left. Nvidia's trying to turn around. It's down -30. Carvana up 3. All right. Let's see what other news we have here. Oh, BTC is trying to push up again. There you go. PayPal's up 1%. Qs are only up 4 right now. Also getting a little lost. All right. What other news do we have? Let's see here. Intel chips are bad. The only hope is in the fabs. I agree. How am I playing today? Any casino moves? TBD. I've been thinking about it, and my current strategy is actually to execute trades probably closer to when the statement comes out. I might actually wait for the statement to come out and then go for 0 days on Friday. And then it'll either be calls or puts. So I'll have sort of a list of what I'm thinking. But I'm also not sure. So the market's really funny in terms of how it can react. So I might take during that hour and a half during Jay Powell's statements. That could be very interesting, because that's the other thing. Like, you'll get the statement, and then Jay Powell will water it down. So, like, the statement could be bad, and then you go puts, right? So here's your strategy. Bad statement, you should be going puts, right? And the statement should, like, a bad statement would be like 4.9 or 5% for this year. That would be a very bad statement. You're probably going puts. If you get like a 4.7 or you're a hold at 4.6, you might go calls. So I'd probably go calls, especially if I got a reduction and like we were priced in more cuts. I'd probably go calls, especially the more red we go before. The UAE voicemail. I don't answer to anyone except for Lauren. Yeah. So, okay. So, problem is, do you go puts if the market already sells off going into it? I don't know. Probably go calls. But again, it's going to depend on that statement. And then it's not just the statement, but then how much does Jay Powell water it down or amplify it? So it's not the easiest thing to trade. Not the easiest. Yeah. Oh well. So, all right. Good old red. Nvidia is almost down 1%. What are we doing on the day chart here? We're still hanging over that 850 level. 850 is a pretty important one. Pretty, it doesn't seem like we're getting like a massive mover anywhere. It feels a little bit more like just sort of benign little moves. I mean, you got Dwack. That's up like 12% for some reason. Trade Desk, is there Trade Desk news? That's actually quite a bit. Trade Desk. Nope. No Trade Desk news. Somebody here is asking about Snowflake. Why do you want to know about Snowflake? Wow. Wow. They tanked after earnings, huh? Oh, let's do a fundamental analysis on them in the course member live. Look at this. Almost have a trend here. It's a pretty crappy drawing. Oh, there we go. That's better. 1, 2, 3, 3-ish. Almost at 4 here. It's not 100% perfect, but that's pretty good. This is interesting. That's on the week chart for Snowflake. Pretty close to a potential bounce there, unless you've got some longer term issues. We'll see. So Snowflake looking interesting. Super Micro down another 4%. Finally. How's Micro Strategy doing? MSTR. Well, that's down 3. That's your week chart. Here's your day chart. Yeah. Most things here. Seems like Nvidia is just dragging down the indices. Because the rest doesn't seem like that horrible. Trade Desk holding up with 3%. I have no idea why. $82. Seems like it's been bouncing around there for a while. All right, let's see what else people are commenting about here. So remember, quickly, price goes up on the course member courses with lifetime access to course member live stream on Friday. Event in June. Ben Mala will be there. Got a lot of other exciting guests to invite. That's going to be really fun. A lot of real estate. Also going to get innovation in there and finance. Yeah, what else? House Hack Fundraise, househack.com/2024. Snow Switch CEO and Sandbag new CEO. Oh, so new CEO can beat. Oh. Yeah, maybe. That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, FSD 12.3 is pretty good. I like 12.3. Kevin needs some water. He sounds like an old Chevy winding up in the morning. Yeah, literally trading on the words that come out of J-Pal's mouth. Yup. Yup. Straddle. Yeah, that's a vol play. Maybe. Let's see. What else? House Hack's doing great. Prayers for Kevin Summer. Thank you for that. A firm up today. Is that true? Let's take a peek. Oh, yeah, that's right there. 2.5. Wow. Look at Dwack. Go Dwack. On what news? Did Trump finally get his bond? I don't know that he did. Trump. No. Yeah, his bond issue is still the problem for him. Oh well. Okay. Looks like the fall is somewhat stabilized. Yeah, it's not that bad. Just a little bit of a pre-Fed panic. Yeah, 56 there on tests, trying to move back up. Disney's trying to move up. Okay, pretty chill. Chill morning, it seems like. Yeah, Japanese yen near 30-year low. Nice. Okay, so how are the babies doing? Well, 6 of them are doing great. And one of them goes in for surgery at 1:30 today, so very excited for her. Get that surgery done. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna push the button.
Just close the fucking door. Close the door.
Oh. Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is neither personalized financial advice nor real estate advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show should not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purpose of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services which we may benefit from. I personally operate and actively manage ETF and hold long positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuers other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker. So there you have it. All right, I'm going to make some more coffee. Super Micro down 4. Ooh, trying to bounce though. Make some more coffee. We'll go to the course member live stream. We'll send the alert in just a moment, and we'll see y'all soon. Thanks so much for being here.